We live in a culture that champions checking out. After a long day, the default response to exhaustion is self-care in the form of complete mental and physical inactivity. We collapse on the couch and reach for the lowest effort comforts available: social media feeds, refined sugar, or streaming platforms. We look for immediate relief that requires zero energy expenditure. Yet this routine often results in a clear contradiction. Instead of waking up refreshed, these sessions frequently leave us feeling lethargic, empty, and carrying a quiet sense of regret. Choosing the path of least resistance creates a net energy deficit. To understand why, we have to look at the biological mechanics that penalize passive consumption as a form of rest. The human brain is governed by homeostasis, the constant drive to maintain a stable internal state regardless of external changes. When we consume low-effort pleasures, we trigger an unearned spike of dopamine. This graph shows the surge in neurochemistry that occurs without any preceding work to justify the reward. The brain perceives this spike as a threat to its balance. In response, it downregulates its D2 receptors, effectively numbing the system. The receptor threshold rises to meet the surge, which eventually forces the normal baseline to drop lower than its original starting point. That lingering dissatisfaction is a biological prediction error. Your brain recognizes that you traded long-term capability for a momentary spike, and the resulting deficit is the feedback loop of a system that has lost its edge. With fewer active receptors, you become less sensitive to everyday joy. The small wins that used to feel rewarding no longer register with the same intensity. To reach a state that feels normal, a brain in this downregulated state requires increasingly intense stimuli to overcome its new, higher threshold. Instant gratification functions like a high-interest loan. You get a momentary surge of dopamine now, at the cost of your future ability to generate and experience energy. Rebuilding a depleted baseline requires a counterintuitive approach. Rather than more passive rest, the system requires highly demanding, intentional stress. This is the principle of hormesis, a biological process where a specific dosage of stress triggers a compensatory response that leaves the organism stronger than it was before. Hard work has immediate costs. Pushing through a heavy training session or a complex technical problem causes oxidative stress, depletes glycogen, and leads to neural fatigue. However, this fatigue is temporary. It is the necessary biological catalyst for adaptation, standing in direct contrast to the long-term drain caused by cheap dopamine. In this context, difficulty is a biological investment. We apply stress today to force upgrades, making that same stress easier tomorrow. This is supercompensation. After the initial stress dip, the recovery curve climbs above the starting point as the body rebuilds to a higher capacity. Physically, this manifests as mitochondrial biogenesis and increased muscle area. Cognitively, the brain rewires itself, promoting neuroplasticity. As these adaptations take hold, the excruciating activity that once pushed you to your limit becomes your new baseline of ease. The body is evolving to trivialize the stressor. What was once hard is now the standard level of performance. Long-term gratification is biological compounding interest. By investing energy into difficult tasks today, you increase your system's capacity to handle the demands of the future. Behavior change is often framed as a battle of willpower. However, because willpower is a finite resource, relying on it as a primary strategy creates a bottleneck for long-term consistency. A more effective paradigm is managing choices as a system of energy allocation. You are deciding which activities will earn you a biological return on your investment. First, assess the asymmetry of your activities. Determine if a habit leaves you as a hollow consumer of external stimuli or an active producer of strength, knowledge, and value. Second, repurpose pleasure. Strip it of its role as an escape and use it intentionally as a tool to fuel physical and mental recovery. Finally, chase the residue. Seek out the hard tasks where the discomfort disappears quickly, but the resulting capability remains as a part of your baseline. Human optimization is the process of elevating your physiological baseline. As your resting state reaches a higher level of performance, the reliance on low-quality dopamine hits naturally fades, replaced by the capability of a high-functioning system.